Billed as the world's first fully automatic robot vacuum cleaner, designed to give your carpet the once-over, whilst you get on with other things. Beneath its sleek exterior, the robot vacuum cleaner bristles with radar and artificial intelligence. That's because cleaning a room takes more brains than you might think. The robot hasn't been given any information about the shape of the room, but it can work its way about the floor using a couple of simple tricks. First things first, it goes off to clean the edges of the room. It can see up to ½ metre in front of it using an ultrasonic radar. An onboard computer remembers the precise distance and angles it's moved through and uses these to work out the shape of the room. So it knows when it's done a complete circuit. Once it's returned to its starting point, its brain switches into a different mode, and the vacuum cleaner crisscrosses the floor at random. Eventually, it should cover the whole room. If you want a bit more control over your vacuum cleaner, then there's this handy little remote control. You can use this to find out exactly where your machine is. Or, if you want to override the programming, you can steer it to go exactly where you want. It wouldn't make any sense to have a mains lead trailing around and getting tangled up in all the furniture, so the robot has to run off rechargeable batteries, and the plan is to build in a feature so that it knows when it's running low on juice and it can take itself back to its own recharging station. And once your machine is fully charged, it will keep cleaning continuously for over an hour. The radar eyes are always on the lookout for any obstacles, so the vacuum cleaner shouldn't break or suck up anything it's not supposed to, including any moving objects. This is still just a prototype, and even if it never completely replaces the vacuum cleaner, it might still join the ranks of the dishwasher and the microwave. It's one of those inventions you'll wonder how you ever did without.
Hi.
Hi. Darling, thanks for coming. Listen, you'll have to excuse the mess. I haven't had a minute to tidy up.
An electric bike which can coast as easily uphill as it goes along the flat. Woo! Now that's a 1 in 5 hill. I'd normally be pushing it up there. Another nice feature is the way that the freewheeling has been moved from the rear hub to the pedals, which means that you can continue to use the motor, which drives the chain, but your feet, woo, do not have to whiz round and round. Now this is the latest in a whole string of leg-saving electric bikes, but they all have one thing in common. They use these heavy lead-acid batteries, which in some cases weigh as much as the bikes themselves. So have a look at this one here. Now this doesn't weigh much more than an ordinary bike. It's battery driven, here's the motor, but this one uses the small ordinary nickel-cadmium batteries. Now admittedly they're rather expensive and they do run out rather quickly, but the idea is that you would pedal most of the time using the motor to give you a little bit of a hand up the breathtaking bits. And then as you coast, woo! As you coast downhill, you can also recharge. You can see how lethal I am on the bike. You can recharge those batteries, which will help them last a little bit longer. But for me, the fascination lies in the way that this simple cone at the front functions as an automatic gear. Now, when you turn the motor on here, this bit does the driving. And if you could just give me a hand here, Peter, and spin the wheel. Now, when you go uphill, just watch how that cone moves up and it drops you into a lower gear. When you're back on the flat, it moves down and puts you in a higher gear. There. Now this is an idea which gives you infinitely variable gearing, which you don't even have to think about. And it also means that the batteries last twice as long, which is why you get away with using such small ones in the first place. Well, this bike will be appearing in the summer, and the one that I rode first appears next month, just in time for the commuters who fancy a breath of spring air.